So we are here at Helium Comedy Club. I am Setoiyo here with Steven Wrigley, joke master extraordinaire, and Dungeons and Dragons. What do they call? Are you like a dungeon master?
Yeah. If it's Dungeons and Dragons, it's a dungeon master.
Okay.
But we actually prefer now the term game master because one of the biggest problems with Dungeons and Dragons as a hobby is people ask you what you're into, and you go dungeons, and you don't even really get to finish the rest of it. They're like, wait, what? And you're like, no, there's dragons as well.
Yeah. There's other cool things.
There's other cool stuff. It's not all bondagey. And Dungeon Master sounds super bondy.
It does, definitely. It does, yeah.
But yeah, DM.
Yes, okay, you're a DM. That sounds even more bondagey.
Well, it definitely sounds more like, hey, slip into my DMs.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a DM. Okay, a DM man. All right.
That's right.
Okay, so yes, I guess I've never done Dungeons and Dragons before.
Well, the first thing you got to do when you play Dungeons and Dragons, my dude, is you've got to put your character together. You got to pick the first two things that you got to pick. Are your class, and your race.
My class and my race.
Which I know in America's pretty loaded. Like normally you pick your race first and then you get your class assigned to you. Right?
Yeah, that felt too on the nose. I was like, black guy, black guy? I was like, okay, I'm black. This is what's gonna happen. But what does it mean in Dungeons and Dragons?
So in Dungeons and Dragons, actually they've changed it. They tried to like wokeify D&D a little bit and they changed it from race to species, which I think that's kind of worse.
Yeah.
Like if you were to say like, I have feelings about the Chinese people as a race, that's one thing. But if you said I have feelings about the Chinese people as a species, that's like arguably worse.
It's a little bit.
So you pick your race, but race in Dungeons and Dragons, like think fantasy shit. Dwarves, elves, goblins, orcs, right? And then there's all the other, there's like fruity races, like the Asimir who are half angels. There are tieflings who are like half demons. Typically in Dungeons and Dragons, whatever race you do pick, you just make your character. The main thing is to just make them extremely hot.
Okay, I'm gonna be an Asimir.
Okay, you want to be an Asimir, so you want to be a half angel.
I want to be
Asimir.
a half angel Asimir. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So you're a half angel Asimir, and then you'd pick your class, which would be like a barbarian. So, and if you're a barbarian, you're like less thinking, more smashing, right? You're like prone to violence. You have the ability to intimidate people. Or on the other end of the spectrum, you might be a wizard, where you're not very physically strong, but you know a lot of magic spells, and you kind of like hide in the back and then like zip in with some either magic buffs for the other players where you make them stronger, healthier, or you just coming in with a fireball and like incinerating a room full of people.
Oh, okay, massive death. What if I was an Asimir barbarian?
That's some badass stuff.
Yeah,
that's some badass stuff.
I got a soft side, I got a hard side. I can use both, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you don't have to have a soft side as an Asimir either. You can just be a badass avenging angel. Like, you know, being a celestial, which is like kind of what the idea of an angel is in Dungeons and Dragons. You're not like a loving, holy, loving God thing. You just come from sort of the celestial realm, depending on how it's configured in whatever world you're in. So you might be like a big, angry, smitey mofo who comes down and whacks people.
That's what I want. I'm gonna be an Asimir barbarian. That way I'm benevolent. Doesn't mean I'm good. I'm benevolent. Also at the same time, I just like to beat shit up. I like to conquer. Yeah,
and also like, you're a half angel. So there's like an angel in your family somewhere. So like maybe your mom was a human and your dad was an angel who like left to get some milk.
I'm biracial.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm biracial.
Or bispeciesal, as we like to say.
By species. I'm by species. See, it's progress.
Your key ability as a barbarian is you have an ability called raging. Right. Where like I think it's like 3 times a day when you start out, you can choose to go into a rage, go into a frenzy, and when you do that, you have like advantage on anything that's strength-based, you deal more damage in combat, you don't feel it when people hit you as much, you just go into like a blind frenzy.
This sounds like steroids.
It's roid rage. It basically is roid rage. It's
roid rage. Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I can get my gains are working. Hell yeah. Okay.
And then everything comes down to the roll of a 20-sided dice. Right? Like, so when you're doing anything in Dungeons and Dragons, here's one. You usually need 2.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So you do anything in Dungeons and Dragons, you roll a 20-sided dice, and then you'll have an ability modifier that you'll add to it. And so that represents your particular skill or proficiency in some area, right? So like as a barbarian, if you were to make what we would call an intelligence saving throw, where like a wizard tries to control your mind and you have to use like the power of your mind to fight back as a barbarian, you might have like a -2 modifier to that. It's not going to work on you. But if you got to punch your way through a door, you would get a +8 to that, and there'll be a number that you have to beat. So you want to quickly, I'll show you how quick and how easy we can do Dungeons and Dragons. So I'll give you some modifiers in my head, and you can just have an easy fight against a bandit.
Okay.
And we're gonna say you get to go first, and his armor class is 12.
Okay.
So what is the first thing that you're gonna do if you're a barbarian and you're about to fight? You're gonna choose to?
Punch him.
Now, before you punch him.
I'm gonna roll the dice.
Before you roll the dice, what does a barbarian do? What's his key skill?
Yelling. Oh yeah, the rage. Yeah,
The
I got
rage.
rage, right? The
I
rage,
love
the
how I
drugs.
do this.
The drugs in
I
my
love how I
fucking.
do this.
Okay, so I'm putting the drugs in for my roids.
So you're gonna rage
I
out.
can rage out.
What does that look like? Imagine you're a half angel, you've got wings on your back.
Yeah.
What does it look like when you rage? I want you to describe that to me.
I'm like Bautista from WWE, like just fucking shake it, fucking shake it. All of a sudden I'm squatting for no reason, fucking doing the thing. Pyro's going off everywhere. Yeah.
I frickin' love it. Okay, so you've got a bard behind you, using minor illusion to create like pyrotechnic works. Batista's going off. So you're gonna get to roll with advantage because you're gonna make a reckless attack. Okay. So you gotta roll those 2 dice. We're gonna add, your modifier is gonna be +6. What kind of weapon have you got? 2 hand, 1 hand? What are we using?
I want what's it called? Like a big axe.
A big axe. Okay, so a big battle axe.
Big battle
so we'll
axe,
go
yeah.
+7 modifier. You gotta beat a 12. That's his armor class.
Okay.
So there's a bandit standing in front of you and he's like, I'm gonna take all of your money.
Yeah.
And you've gone.
I'm gonna fuck this bandit. I walk alone. God damn it.
I walk alone. That's the only line we know. A 2 and an 11. An 11 wouldn't beat a 12, but we know we've got a +7 for a total of 18. So that beats his armor class.
So he's fucked.
Well, now we've got to roll damage. So he's got 11 hit points.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I think for a battle axe, we're gonna go with a D12, which is that sucker right there. It's a 12-sided dice, and then here's another one. So you're gonna roll both of these. We're gonna add 5 to this number. Okay. He's got 11 hit points total. Okay. So this is how much damage you're gonna do to him. So roll those dice. 9 + 4, so we've got 13. And we're adding 5 to that for a total of 17. So he doesn't even, so I'm gonna say to you, I want you to describe to me what it looks like when you kill this bandit.
I split him in half. I split this bandit, this treacherous bandit who thought he could come against me, Setoiyo, the Asimir barbarian, with Bautista music in the background. And I slayed through him, he's destroyed, and the music is still playing. And then once the music is playing, I put the axe down and I proceed to continue to shake. That's my victory. That's my victory.
That's Dungeons and Dragons, bro.
Okay, hell yeah.
Now imagine that, you've got like a few other people playing with you. You had a friend with you, he was like a wizard and he was hoping to question this bandit and get some information out of him, but too bad, he's split in half now on the ground. Yes. But then the wizard might come in and he might use a spell called Speak with the Dead, which brings him back, and he gets to ask the guy, I think it's 5 questions, right? And so he'd bring him back and he'd ask him 5 questions. And
so this wizard, this treacherous demon, can potentially take away my victory from me, so I can slay this bandit.
Oh, he's still dead.
He's still, oh, okay, he's not coming back.
He's not coming back.
Okay, he's been back. Okay.
And one of the questions he might ask him is like, how do you feel about how dead you are right now? Or you could even, and one of the fun things in D&D is you could even step in and go, he would cast the spell, and before he asked the first question, you'd be like, yo, let me ask him a couple.
Oh my God.
How much did that hurt?
I can do a post game. Yeah, you thought you could fuck with me? Like, how you feeling? But now that you're dead and your family will never see you again. See, I should have been playing this game.
Yeah, but and part of the fun of Dungeons and Dragons is like, you kind of mess with each other, like the other people that you're playing with, and it really is just like a mechanism for banter, and you know, it's like this system of rules and the dice rolling is all just designed to be fun. Okay. Like, you know, one of the best descriptions I've heard is like, you know, when you used to play in the playground, and you'd be like, I'm this, I'm that, and you'd have that one kid who'd go, well, I'm everything proof. Yeah. This goes, well, let's find out if you are, in fact, everything proof. Because then you can have that one kid, you can be like, turns out you're not.
You're not, yeah, you can't make this shit up on the fly, Derek. Yeah.
So it's like we're playing make-believe, and the dice, chaos is like our arbiter. It's like, it is like the god that presides over it, and you're always wagering choices and decisions, and then the dice are like, telling us how that literally rolls out.
That's so wild. I have a question. I got a couple. I've always wondered this. Do y'all be reading all these books? Like every book. This is a lot of book, bro. Like y'all be reading all of this, like the player's handbook you read, the dungeon master, like all of it.
I've read all of these, but like honestly, most people, we just buy them because we like the books.
Yeah.
Like we just like the books. We like to put them in the bookshelf. We like to have them. You know, and you don't, I mean, the Monsters Manual, it's like, it's all just pretty pictures of monsters and stuff. You don't even have to.
I heard this was the porn book. They see that.
For a lot of people, this is our Playboy magazine in the D&D world, although it is a little twisted because it's like, it's not like hot women, although there are plenty of hot pictures. It's things like the Shambling Mound, which has like, you know, massive kind of tentacly things. It's mainly tentacles is what we're into.
It's just like jacked monsters. That's a lot of tentacles, and you know, boys is dirty, so their minds can go wherever they need to go.
It is, and this thing's got an armor class of 15 and 110 hit points. And so, like, if you were fighting that's when you'd want your crew in there, you know, helping out and stuff. But no, I've read all of these, but a lot of people, I mean, the great thing about Dungeons and Dragons is like you could play, especially if you're playing, if you want a dungeon master, you want to know a few things. But you could sit at a table without having read any of these books. And as long as you've got a good DM, you'll have a good time because it is more about like using your imagination and making choices, right? Like I said to you, hey, there's this bandit and what do you want to do and how do you want to do it? And you just get to go, oh, I'd like to kill him, or I want to hear him out, or it says here in my bag, I've got like 50 feet of rope. Can we tie this guy up and torture him? Whatever you want to do, you can do it, you know?
So what prompted you to be like on stage out of nowhere, on a whim, just talk about this and then what it's led to for you?
Dude, it's been crazy. So I was in Austin, Texas with Reese Darby, another Kiwi comedian. I was his feature act. And I did a joke that was so specifically Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like that you would only get it if you fully understood the culture and you fully knew what we were doing. And like 80, 90% of the room laughed. And the thing with comedy that we know is like, you can get a round of applause for anything. You can tell people, hey, clap for this. I could say clap for Dungeons and Dragons and I could get a room to do it. But you can only get a room full of people to laugh if it's in the zeitgeist of the room. Like if everyone has to have the knowledge and everyone has to know the thing. And so I do this joke, I get this laugh, and I was like, man, this is awesome. And it just turns out that Reese's audience is pretty nerdy because we had the same vibe happen when I did the show here in Philly with him. Even more so here in Philly, we had real big D&D people turning out for his show there. And so like, you know, the stuff that a lot of comics have been posting stuff to the internet of like doing crowd work where they're like, what do you do for a living? But instead of what do you do for a living, I'm going, what do you play? And they're like, asked to be a barbarian. And I like can do jokes about that. And it's just been a big game changer for me because like, it's fun. And I did a show in Austin, Texas. We managed to sell out the Red Room there and it was just all D&D nerds and we were all in our element and like, it was really nice to do a show where like we didn't have to talk about politics. We didn't have to talk about social stuff. We didn't have to talk about anything that is like, although one of the jokes that I do talk about though is that I thought that I would be able to sidestep controversy. Because I had this one clip get like 1 million views on it. And dude, it's like 50-50 comments of people who are like, love this is great. But then like, you can't do anything without triggering someone, man. And it's always the same dude.
Every time.
It's the same dude,
It's the same, it's just one version of guy, just among
one version of guy.
5 million dudes,
Anime profile picture, every single time. Anime profile picture. And they all make the same point, like, they come in with their energy of like, oh, well, someone's got to point this out. And they don't even take the time to go, oh, 100 people have already pointed this out.
Nope, they are the first one. It is I who must come in and correct. Sometimes not even fully listening to the clip.
No, I've had people who came in on a clip. In Dungeons & Dragons, there's this thing, you roll the 20-sided dice, and if you roll a 20 on the 20-sided dice, it's considered a natural 20, which is sort of considered like an automatic success. So like if you're rolling to attack and you roll a 20, it's like not only did you hit, you like splattered the guy, right? And so I'm posting a bit about that. And the rest of the clip, I go on to talk about how that's kind of unreasonable. Like, because people get really excited about it and have literally said, "Oh my God, I rolled a 20. What are the odds?"
Yeah.
And the odds are like 1 in 20.
20.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not that amazing. Like, people freak out about it at the D&D table. Oh my God, a 20. And it's like, dude, you just beat average probability. But it's still exciting. But I go on to kind of break that down in the clip, but it didn't matter.
Nope.
10 seconds they watch. As soon as something gets triggered inside them, I want to combat this, you know?
Oh, that's so wild.
It's pretty funny. But they're not coming to the show. They're not buying tickets.
No.
They're
But they're helping with the engage in their own. They don't even know because they think they're dunking on you. But it's like, no, you're just further engaging with this thing that's going to put people's eyes on it who do appreciate what you're saying.
I don't know if they know. I don't know if they think they're dunking on me. We call it in D&D. We call them the actuallys.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? So they're like, so like in D&D, like there's a lot of rules. Like you're talking about the books. Like there's a lot of rules, right? But the golden rule in Dungeons and Dragons is the dungeon master, the DM, can make a ruling in the heat of the moment and everyone just goes with it, right? Because otherwise what happens is you spend 10, 15 minutes scrolling through the books, trying to get the exact reading, and it becomes like an episode of Law and Order, and it's boring as hell.
Right.
So there's like a golden rule, which is just the DM can go, oh, you want to do that? Give me one of these dice rolls, and then we can move on.
Yeah.
And you get these people called the actuallys who go, actually, if we go to page 426 of the player's handbook, and then they love to bog that shit down. And meantime, we just want to cut bandits in half.
Yeah, it's like we just want to have a good time, but you're the dude from The Simpsons, like worst plot ever. It's like, yo, you're killing the vibe of the whole thing.
Litigators, bro.
Yeah.
There's the
every time.
actuallys. Yeah.
Okay, nice to know the actuallys. That's fucking
Oh,
crazy.
there. But we just don't. You just don't play with them.
Okay. Heck
You
yeah.
put them at a table together.
Yeah.
Let
Just let
them
them go.
actually each other into oblivion.
To death.
Yeah.
To death. And they're on their own island wondering why no one wants to deal with them.
That's right. I'm Steve Wrigley. Best place to find me is on Instagram. That's my favorite app, wriggles.insta, WRIGGLES.insta. I'm on TikTok as well. I think I'm just Steve Wrigley there. Get in touch with me. Send me a message. I love to chat to people.